Jeff McElfresh of AT&T just gave us a little bit more insight and clarity on what they're doing with their fiber network and what they're doing with fixed wireless access. So one of the things that was mentioned in a discussion here from AT&T's chief operating officer was a little bit of detail and transparency on how AT&T is going to expand 5G home internet or fixed wireless access. And according to him, they're just kind of doubling down on their approach, which is leverage fixed wireless as a catch, give it to customers who need it. And they do it to a scale that they like, right? They don't want to oversell it and cause their network to be congested and all those things. But basically, what they want to do is eventually replace all of those fixed wireless access customers' access with fiber. Now, some places are going to get the fiber sooner than others, but he did mention being able to deploy substantial amounts of new fiber connections between New York City and Los Angeles in a quote, in route miles every month fashion. All right, now I don't know about all that. That's a very lofty and large statement. Now, I do know that they did say and mention they wanted to get to 50 million locations with fiber by 2029, and they're probably going to get there. I don't think that's going to be trouble. But they're looking to do this, I think, with scale, and they're probably going to leverage it by trying to get the customer first with FWA and then getting them on fiber as they kind of build it. But the thing about it is they have existing DSL in places, and they're not putting fiber in those places currently as we know. So I'm not really sure what their process is. They look at the return on invested capital and whether or not they should deploy in a certain place or whatever the case may be. But clearly AT&T is warmer on fixed wireless access today than they were a couple of years ago when CEO John Stankey really downplayed it. It does seem to be more substantial than what he originally let on. I think it's a fair assessment. AT&T added 181,000 customers in AT&T Internet Air last quarter. So, I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but, if you're selling it to almost 200,000 customers, which is probably not the peak, they're probably going to exceed that this quarter or the next one, right? You're going to see more of that. So to call it a catch may be fine, but you're never going to scale nationwide fiber. Like, nobody does that. And I think trying to oversell that story kind of just is a detriment to the company. I think it sets an unfair precedent, especially when you think about how much fiber they'd have to build and then how much they'd have to acquire, like the discussions about acquiring Lumen, and the build out with BlackRock and all these other things. Like, there's going to have to be so much that has to take place for them to even get to 100 million passings. Like, their goal, by the end of the decade is 50 million, right? So if it took you 20 years to get to 50 million, what's it going to take to get to the next 50? Another few decades, you know what I mean? So it's really hard to kind of hear these things from these companies, and AT&T especially, when we know the truth. You are not going to build it that fast, and trying to present it any other way, it's just, I think it's kind of disingenuous. But look, if they want to grow the fiber, I'm all for it. I hope it comes to you and it gives you another fiber option. Everybody deserves a good fiber connection. Keep you regular and keep you fast. Anyways, tell me what you guys think of these disclosures. Tell me what you think of AT&T's approach and how you think it's all going to play out. Let me know. Drop me some comments. Like, share, subscribe. Check out some more videos. We'll see you guys soon.